Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory here with your afternoon update on this First Alert weather day. We are on alert today as severe storms are likely, including a risk of damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. This threat is for just a little bit later into this afternoon and evening. These storms are actually already firing up in Missouri. The entire tri-state still at that level 4 risk. So widespread severe weather expected across this area highlighted in red here, and you can see the tri-state is just right in the middle of that bullseye. So severe weather is likely later today. There is a tornado watch off to our west. That's where the storms are firing right now. I would expect that watch will probably be expanded into the tri-state as those storms move eastward. There's also a severe thunderstorm watch off to our east-southeast. That's actually for the storms that moved through western Kentucky earlier this morning. Those have now pushed off to the east and are causing some severe weather in Appalachia. But this is our focus now. The storms that are currently headed our way, stretching from around St. Louis south through Missouri and then even barely dipping into Arkansas there. Those storms are moving to the east at about 60 miles an hour, so they are expected to approach the tri-state here in a couple of hours and then move through as we go through the evening hours. So already seeing a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings with these storms. And again, those are the same storms that are headed our way. So we've had some sunshine here for the past couple of hours, and it is still sunny in some locations, but those clouds starting to build in across Illinois now, and those clouds are out ahead of those thunderstorms that will then start to move into the tri-state here in the next couple of hours. As for our temperatures, we're sitting in the low to mid 80s right now with dew points in the 70s. So it's warm, it's humid. There's a lot of energy in the atmosphere right now for those storms to work with. So those will start pushing westward. I just realized that my radar data has disappeared and I'm not really sure why. So let me try and get that back on here for you real quick. It's only showing clouds. And I'm not sure why. That's very strange. Okay, there's something. All right, let's pick it up from there then. Sorry, I don't know, really sure what happened to that. Okay, so we've got these storms coming in from the west this afternoon. I think they'll start moving into Illinois, crossing I-57 closer to 4 o'clock, and then start approaching the Wabash River by about 5 o'clock, then moving through southwest Indiana and western Kentucky as we go through this evening. And I think we'll all be in the clear by about 9, 10 o'clock tonight at the latest, and then those clouds quickly follow, and we've got a lot of sunshine in the forecast on Saturday. So again, this will be sort of a broken line, or maybe several clusters of thunderstorms working from west to east through the tri-state, but our entire region has equal chances of seeing this severe weather. So we're all sitting at that level 4 risk. Let's talk about those individual threats, because we are getting some questions about that. I know flooding certainly possible. These storms may be packing some heavy rain, but that is not the primary concern with this. Wind, hail, and tornadoes, all an elevated threat here. So wind, 45% chance of seeing severe wind. Hail was updated earlier today. We've got a 30% risk of hail on the eastern half of the tri-state, a 45% risk on the western half of the tri-state, and then all sitting at a 15% chance of seeing tornadoes. And you'll notice those black lines sort of running through the maps for wind, hail, and tornadoes. That denotes a significant risk. So not just severe wind, which would be anything over 58 miles an hour, but significant severe wind, 75 miles an hour or greater. That's hurricane force wind gusts may be possible within these thunderstorms. Hail, we're talking 2 inches or larger possible, and tornadoes EF2 or greater. So again, we've got this really elevated risk of damaging wind, hail, and tornadoes, and with all 3 of those, we also have those hatched marks for that significant risk. And if you're having trouble picturing what 2-inch hail would look like, it's pretty serious business. Anything quarter size or larger, which would be 1 inch or larger hail, is considered severe. That's large enough to do some damage. 2-inch hail would be getting up into the golf ball to hen egg size hail, but it's possible we could even see some hail as large as baseballs if these storms really come together in just the right way this afternoon and evening. So we're talking about a significant hail threat here with golf ball to baseball size hail possible as these storms roll through the tri-state. So again, just to summarize here, we are on alert today. Severe storms are likely this evening, starting as early as 4 o'clock for parts of Illinois, and then coming to an end by about 9, maybe 10 o'clock at the very latest on the eastern end of the tri-state. I think it'll probably be closer to 8 or 9. So Evansville in the middle of the tri-state would be caught in between, so starting probably closer to 5, 6 o'clock with that storm threat ending closer to 7 or 8 o'clock there, right through the middle of this window. Damaging wind, large hail, and tornadoes all possible within these storms. Now, as for what you should be doing with this information, you should be using it to get prepared. Before the first alert weather day, that's already passed. Hopefully this isn't the first you're hearing of these storms and you've been paying attention to the weather. Now we're to this point. It is a first alert weather day. Make sure that you are getting the very latest information and tracking these storms live with us as they move into the tri-state. So we'll obviously be, we're streaming this right now. We'll continue to have coverage in our 4, 5, 6 o'clock newscasts later this evening. Have the 14 First Alert app handy. You can even check the radar yourself with that. Adjust your plans. You don't want to get caught outside in a storm like this. So if you do have outdoor plans this evening, I would reschedule or just cancel if you can. Remind your family of the safety plan. Make sure everybody's on the same page. It's been a little while since we've had some major severe weather in the tri-state. Make sure everyone remembers where to go and what to do. And on that point, this is the time to make sure your shelter is clean and accessible. For a lot of us, our storm safe place may be a closet that you normally store things in, and you right now couldn't fit a person in there. Make sure you've got all that stuff cleaned out so that if a warning is issued, you can move to that safe space very quickly without having to move a bunch of stuff first. If a warning is issued, that's when you want to move and move quickly. Take action immediately. Go to that safe place, which should be a room without windows or exterior walls. Get low to the ground and cover your head. If you can, grab some protection for yourself along the way, blankets, pillows, bike helmets. Make sure everyone has on shoes to help protect you from any debris. And when we're talking about what your safe place should look like, we're talking about getting as far inside the building as you can. So you don't want any exterior walls or windows if possible. You want to put as much building between you and the outside as you can. So we'd be talking about the innermost parts of whatever building you're in. If you're going to be at home, you should already be familiar with what that safe place would look like. If you're going to be out somewhere else, be thinking about where would the safe place be in this building? Move toward the middle of the building. A lot of the time it ends up being a bathroom, a hallway, a closet, very similar to what you would see in your own home. And obviously a basement is the best place to be. We did have a question yesterday about, well, what if your basement has windows or doors? There are a lot of walkout basements, but you'll just want to move back and away from the doors and windows. Again, getting as far sort of underground and away from the outside as you possibly can. It's also important to know when a warning is issued. Please do not be relying on storm sirens. They are not designed to be heard indoors, and we've had problems in the past with them just not working. So you definitely don't want to rely on that as your first line of defense. If you have a NOAA weather radio, great. This is going to be in, the daylight hours largely, where folks should probably be awake. So just have the radio on, have the TV on, and if you don't already have it, get the 14 First Alert Weather app. It is free, and it's a really great tool. I'm not just saying that because I work here. I use it all the time. You can actually set it up where it'll follow your location. So even if you're away from home, out and about, it'll follow your phone, and if there's a warning issued for where you are, it'll ding your phone and make you aware of that. So download that 14 First Alert app, set it up to get those notifications, and have your phone on ring so that you'll hear those notifications if a warning is issued for your location. Again, I want to just go over the timing one more time. Here are the storms we're talking about. They're out around St. Louis right now, stretching down through Missouri. They're moving east at about 60 miles an hour, though. So actually, let's use a little common sense and track this out. Here's where they are right now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter here. And then let's just put a track on this. as far as, how quickly they're moving, 60 miles an hour is how fast it's moving. So let's just start sort of right along the leading edge here, and I'm going to go 60 miles to the east. So that's about how far it's expected to be in an hour. We'll go down just a little bit and go 120. So then that would show you, starting to approach our southeast Illinois counties, maybe approaching the Wabash River there in about 2 hours. That would get us up to, 4:40, so sometime between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. Taking it a little bit further then, let's go 180 miles. That would be 3 hours, right? 6 times 3 is 18, so 60 miles an hour. 3 hours from now, these storms would be, up around Owensboro. So again, we're talking about 6 o'clock or so then. And if we wanted to take it one step beyond that, 240 would put us, at that point, moving out of the tri-state 4 hours from now. So by about, 7, 8 o'clock, if these storms keep up their current pace, they could be out of here. I think at the very latest, we could be looking at 9 or 10 o'clock, but probably closer to 7 or 8 is when this will all be over. These are going to move through very quickly. So an hour from now, they'll be sort of in central Illinois. A couple hours from now, likely moving into our southeast Illinois counties and starting to approach the Wabash River. 3 hours from now, moving right through the heart of the tri-state, and then by 4 hours from now, these will probably be moved largely out of our area. So again, my rain data is not showing up on this model. I'm not really sure why, so we're just going to skip that since we already sort of timed these out. Okay, so again, here's another look at the threat level. We're all at that level 4. We always run into people asking, what about this town? What about this town? The threat level is the same for everyone. I just walked you through the timing, but your chances of seeing severe weather, the same for the entire tri-state. Everyone is sitting at that level 4 risk. So widespread severe storms are likely in the entire tri-state area later this evening and into tonight. Again, this would be mainly from about 4 to 8 p.m., maybe extending as late as 9 or 10, but that might be a stretch. Most likely about 4 to 8 o'clock tonight seems like the best window for that, likely moving through Evansville sometime around 6 o'clock or so, give or take 30 minutes. Individual risks, again, flooding possible, but not the main concern here. These storms may be capable of producing 75 mile an hour or greater wind gusts, 2-inch or larger hail, which would be like hen's egg to baseball sized hail, and EF2 or greater tornadoes. Now, not every single storm is going to produce all of that, but all of these are possible as these storms push through the tri-state a little bit later this evening. So we want to make sure that you are aware of all of those threats and have a plan. Make sure you know where to go, what to do if a warning is issued. Make sure you have a way to get those warnings, and make sure no matter where you are, I know it's a Friday night, a lot of people may have plans. Wherever you're going to be this evening, make sure you know the safe place in that location as well. And that's where that 14 First Alert app really comes in handy, because even if you're away from home, you would still have a way to get those warnings. So please download that app if you haven't already. A little good news here, once these storms get out of here this evening, we're really in the clear then throughout the entire day tomorrow. Sunny skies, highs in the mid to upper 70s. There's an isolated chance of rain on Sunday, but really the whole weekend looking pretty good. Our rain chances really start to pick up early next week though. Thunderstorms possible Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but Tuesday right now looking like our best chance of seeing severe weather here locally, which is why Tuesday is also a 14 First Alert weather day. I'm going to take a quick check at the comments. I'm not going to have a lot of time to answer all of these because obviously we've got a lot going on here this afternoon, and we want to make sure we're also prepared when those storms roll in. And there are a lot of you in the comments, so I'm sorry if I'm not able to get to everyone's questions. Thank you all so much for watching and for sharing and for keeping your families in the loop if they're not paying attention. Mary Beth Rush asking about hail. There's about a 30 to 45% chance that we're going to see some significant hail later tonight, so definitely want to be prepared for that. Some folks, again, asking about timing. We kind of went through some of that. Our southeast Illinois counties likely between 4 and 5 starting to across the Wabash River into Indiana, probably between 5 and 6, and then continuing eastward through the tri-state. I would expect it to be in Owensboro between 6 and 7, and then likely moving out of the tri-state by about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Some folks are sharing that they're very nervous about these storms. That's very understandable. However, the fact that you're prepared and aware should hopefully help with that. As long as you've got a plan and a safe place to go, there's no reason to get yourself too worked up about it. We don't want anybody panicking, but we do want you to be paying attention. We want you to be on alert to the fact that these storms could get serious a little bit later this evening. So just be paying attention, have your plan, and be ready to put it in place. Some people asking about the mode of these storms, a line versus individual cells. That's still been very sort of up in the air. Let me go back up here to the radar just to kind of show you what we're dealing with in Missouri right now. Because these storms let me zoom in just a little bit. These storms over the past couple hours did start as like individual little cells, but then they all kept developing sort of along a line and have continued to move. So there's still spots, sort of individual cells, but they're all lined up. So that's why it's been really hard to figure out, like, are they going to merge and turn into a line? Is this going to be more individual cells that are all sort of lined up along that front? So both modes are possible. These may be discrete individual cells, and with those individual storms, that's where you typically see a greater hail and tornado threat. If they merge and really line up, that's where you oftentimes see that greater damaging wind threat. They'll line up and all kind of push across, and you get this big gust of wind that can cause widespread damage. So both are possible. It seems to be trending more toward sort of an individual cells lined up together, but individual storms. So that's why the tornado risk and the hail threat have both increased a little bit. But if they were to merge into a solid line, there would be a much greater wind threat with that as well. So we need to be prepared for anything, but everybody has a risk of seeing severe storms as we go through this evening. And it's also possible that just like these storms have been sort of popping up, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that a couple of storms could pop up out ahead of this that would be individual cells, but really it's looking like it'll be mainly sort of draped along this front, several clusters of thunderstorms all kind of lined up and pushing through. I hope that answers your question. And the models have been having trouble sort of figuring that out as well. It seems like every time we get new data, there's still that question, is it going to be a line? Is it going to be individual storms? Is it going to start as individual storms, then merge into a line? Either way, I'm concerned about severe storms later this evening. And again, I want to drive home that it's everybody. We still have some people asking, is it going to be worse in one place or another? The entire tri-state is in that level 4 risk. So we all have that same possibility of seeing damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes later this evening. All right. And some people are asking about, initially yesterday it also looked like it might be 2 different rounds. That's another change just since this morning. At one point it was showing an earlier round of storms like right now, and then the second line this evening. But now it's looking like we're getting more of a break this afternoon, and it's just going to be this one main round of storms this evening. So we're no longer expecting 2 rounds. Thank you for bringing that up. I meant to mention that. That is a change from yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about possibly 2 rounds. Now it looks like it will just be this one round of storms. We just got to get through this, and then it'll be over. Okay. I think that pretty much wraps up most of the questions. I'll go through this sort of timeline for you one more time. I think the easiest way to do it, especially since I'm having trouble getting my model data to work correctly, I'm going to have to investigate why after we're done here, but I don't want to make you all sit here and watch me go through my IT problems. So instead, let's just time this out, because these storms are moving to the east at 60 miles an hour. We know that. So let's just work with that. Let's zoom in a little bit tighter so we can see things a little more clearly. And actually, I'm going to take the satellite data off so we can just see the rain. Okay, so there are the storms that we've been talking about, stretching from St. Louis down toward about Poplar Bluff right now, moving to the east at 60 miles an hour. So let's just see how far away they are from the tri-state right now. And the tri-state is these highlighted counties you see here. So if we go from where the storms are now and we take it east at 60 miles, that puts you right around I-57 in Illinois 1 hour from now. So it's almost 3 o'clock. By 4, likely crossing I-57 in Illinois and starting to move toward places like Wayne County. If we then go 120, that would be 2 hours from right now. Gets you right up to the Wabash River, starting to move into places like Gibson, Posey, maybe even Vanderburgh counties 2 hours from now. So that would put you at about 5 o'clock. Then let's go one more. 180. That would be 3 hours going at 60 miles an hour, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours from now. It would be, already starting to get toward the eastern edge of the tri-state. So that would be by 6 o'clock, already moving through Owensboro, starting to push into places like Perry, Hancock, and Ohio counties. And then 4 hours from now, let's go to 40. That actually gets us almost off the screen there. 4 hours from now, starting to approach I-65 in Louisville. So by, 7, 8 o'clock, most of this is probably going to be starting to move out. Now, keep in mind these storms are longer than that, so that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be over in 4 hours, but 4 hours from now, it'll likely be that leading edge is moving out, and by then Illinois will probably be in the clear. Evansville will be starting to clear. So again, thinking about an hour from now, 4 o'clock or so is when it'll start moving into southeast Illinois. By about 5 o'clock, moving into Indiana and Kentucky. By 6 o'clock, it'll have crossed the interstate and be moving through places like Owensboro. By 7, 8 o'clock, starting to work its way out of here. I think by 8 or 9, we'll probably be in the clear. So I hope that answers questions about the timing on that. So those are the storms. That's how far away they are from any given location. They're moving at 60 miles an hour, so just divide that number, and that gives you a pretty straightforward way to just track those storms out. And you can do that at home even if you don't have model data. Just look at where the storms are now, read the information that comes in these little warning boxes from the National Weather Service. It'll tell you it's moving east at 60 miles an hour. Figure out how far you are away from that location. As long as they don't change speed, that's how soon they'll get to you. So a little word math problem for you there. So I hope that answers everybody's questions. Again, everyone is at that level 4 risk. So everyone, if you're watching me right now and you live anywhere in the tri-state, you need to be on alert for those severe storms later on this evening, mainly from 4 to 8 p.m. We're all in the middle of the bullseye together here at that level 4 risk for widespread severe storms that may be capable of producing damaging wind gusts up to 75 miles an hour or greater, large hail, including hen's egg to even baseball-sized hail, and tornadoes that may include EF2 tornadoes or greater. So serious, severe weather risk for later on this evening. Adjust your plans, have a way to receive warnings, know where your safe place is, and keep it tuned to 14 News. Jeff Lyons and I will be here throughout the evening providing updates and tracking these storms as they move into the tri-state. Everybody stay safe and have a good rest of your Friday.